Yeah. Yeah.
So every person
Just
we'll
tell
just
them
keep
we're
a
gonna.
track of time and
Okay.
we'll see how we're doing.
Okay. Tell them. Hey.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Sorry, yeah, sorry. We were muted for a little bit.
Hey, did you know that?
Wait, scoot in so we can all get like in the frame somehow. Yeah. Well, we're gonna try and see if we can get everybody in the frame. Okay, I think we can get 4 people in at a time. Exactly. There's gonna need to be somebody behind there so they can twist the camera to whoever's reading at the moment. You wanna be right there?
Oh no.
And that way whenever they're like whoever it goes to, we'll just like turn it up. Yeah, just turn the camera. Like you turn the whole little box. Yes. Hello?
Hi. Are you guys ready to start? Are you guys ready to start now, or yeah, do you need a couple more minutes?
Give us 3 more minutes and then we'll be ready.
Couple minutes. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Hello, we're ready whenever you guys are.
All right. Can you give us 1 minute and then I'll start the debate off?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hi again, Texas. My name is Matthew Thind, and me and David Suzuki are really excited to be debating with you again about legalizing marijuana. I think it's going to be like an interesting debate, considering that it's been legal here for about 7 months, and we're able to compare a country where it is legal versus a place where it isn't. That being said, we just want to ensure that each side gets equal time, so we'll be having 3-minute speeches. There will be one for economical goes first, pro and con, then ethical, and then social. And then we'll move on to our rebuttal period. That will last approximately 30 minutes. It's going to end approximately at 4:20. Just like last time, I'm going to give a 5-minute warning, so you know that each side will probably get 1 or 2 more points in, and then a 1-minute warning to get 1 or 2 more points in. So that being said, I'm going to start with the economical speech from the pro side, and then you guys can begin.
Okay, before you guys just to interrupt, we only have about 30 minutes today to do the debate, so we have to get done by around 3, if that's okay with you guys.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So is it okay for you guys if we then shorten the speeches at all? Or are you guys...
Time limit?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we'll probably do 2-minute speeches here. If everyone on our side is okay with that. 2-minute speeches we'll do here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we'll start with economical. You guys have 2 minutes.
Economical?
Economical.
Okay, so marijuana should be legalized, as doing so can introduce many economic benefits. Benefits from essentially creating a new industry, which provides more jobs to people and opportunities for investments, while enforcing taxation of marijuana, which in turn can boost the economy. For one, there are jobs such as growers and quality assurance workers that not only provide opportunities for work, but also ensures the quality of marijuana for being safe. This can drive employment growth, as seen in Colorado, for example, where recreational marijuana began being sold in 2014 and had roughly 18,000 full-time jobs related to the marijuana industry in 2015. Having these jobs be done legally also ensures that income tax is being filed properly to the government. An RCG Economics and Marijuana Policy Group study on Nevada says that legalizing recreational marijuana in the state could support over 41,000 jobs till 2024 and generate over 1.7 billion in labor income. When it comes down to actually selling marijuana, federal and provincial sales tax will be applied on top of the excise taxes, which are taxes placed on specific foods. This can be very beneficial, as seen once again in Colorado, which has taken an average of $20 million per month in the past few months from marijuana taxation and licensing. These taxes can go back to the economy for the development of the country, to education and health care. So this is evidence that legalizing marijuana can be profitable and have a positive impact.
Okay, now we'll move on to the con side. You guys can start your speeches.
Good afternoon. I'm going to be starting the con side. Criticism of current marijuana policy, typically limiting the calculation of marijuana's societal cost to the cost of arresting and imprisoning marijuana users. This calculated cost minimizes those produced by the use of the drug itself. And when the costs related to use of marijuana are minimized, the legalization of marijuana gives the appearance of reducing marijuana-related social costs in the same way that counting or enforcing the speeding laws and social costs of speeding legalizing speeding looks like this mentions a former director of the DEA and is not
Sorry to interrupt,
there
but we're just
having
having.
marijuana were legal on April 16th.
Sorry, we don't mean to interrupt. I just
There's a technical problem right now. There's your sound's cutting in and out. It's very garbled. I don't know if there's
So
an
yeah,
issue before you connected or.
whenever you guys speak, we can't really hear. Sometimes.
They can't hear us either.
All right, so I guess we have a bad connection today. So I guess we'll just both practice speaking very slowly today, and hopefully the slowness will allow us to pick out the words.
Okay. Hopefully
Okay.
that works. Yeah.
Got it. So 2 minutes.
So you can continue.
In an April 16th CNN debate with Neil Franklin, a former member of the Baltimore Police Department and now a spokesman for the group Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, Hutchison explained the criminal element would focus on more dangerous drugs to sustain the black market. You've always had people who've said, oh, legalize and tax marijuana, Istick said. They have all these nice bonuses of the finances. The same thing we see with lobbies. It's the same thing we've seen with legalizing other things, and they don't count the social costs. They say, well, they can make money. How about the families that are damaged by legalizing another way for people to get high? The second point, there are significant cost burdens that come along with increased marijuana use. For example, there will be greater social costs from decline in worker productivity and school performance. Legalization will also lead to greater need for drug education, rehabilitation, and treatment, and there will be costs associated with drugs. Consider the finances funded by the California Police Chiefs Association Task Force on Marijuana. California legalized medical marijuana in 1996, and dispensaries were handed out with a doctor's note have become catalysts for serious crime. According to the white paper, dispensary operators have been attacked, robbed, and murdered. Also, drug dealing, sales to minors, loitering, heavy vehicle, and foot traffic in retail areas, increased noise, and robberies of customers just outside dispensaries are all criminal byproducts resulting from California's medical marijuana distribution. We can expect similar problems, but on a far grander scale from lethal legalization. These cost burdens, mental health and health burdens, we should continue to focus efforts to discourage drug use. We can do this in a variety of ways. And Cardin argues that the laws against the use of the marijuana rather than the drug itself is the source of the problems related to marijuana use. Kowski, 2012, points out that within the past 25 years, 240,000 people were arrested for possession of marijuana in the state of Washington at a cost of taxpayers of over $300 million, with mostly arrests coming in the past 10 years. Jeffrey Myron, an economist at Harvard, said legalization in the U.S. would save almost $8 billion from curtailing enforcement activities and would generate over $6 billion in tax revenue. And that's
Okay, thank you so much. So now we're moving on to the ethical implications, starting with the pro side. Remember to speak.
So, to understand if the use of marijuana is morally right, we first need to question what is the objective behind smoking pot. This means the result one looks for when the drug is ingested. Recreationally, it is used for good intent, such as having a happier state of mind, or in many cases, ridding themselves of pain. In these cases, being provided and being able to use marijuana has an acceptable and moral intent. In addition, when the marijuana is regulated and used properly rather than from the black market, there is no violation of community members' rights or limitations in freedom. This is because occasional marijuana usage does not lead to rational behavior, as these are in lower doses, and in general, marijuana is not an addictive drug. Only 30% of users feel any withdrawal problems, which is after multiple heavy doses. So having it occasionally does not have an impact on the dependency of the drug for a user, and rather having it regulated will make it less harmful to the users as it will be pure. Some synthetic marijuana causes higher dependency, leading to more conflicts in a society.
Yes.
Is your thing muted? Is your volume muted on the other side right now?
No, it's not.
So we're getting feedback right now, so if you could just mute it for until the speech is over, and then for your portion you can turn it back on if that's fine.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Lastly, to mention, having it legalized does not lead to more usage, rather safer usage, as it will be regulated. It is morally right to allow for a safe way of distribution of marijuana because some users will be consuming it regardless of the legalization. Once again, proving that if we have the chance, why not make it safe distribution of marijuana, considering it will lead to fewer social conflicts.
It is also unethical to perceive marijuana consumers as criminals. Just because someone may want to use the drug, as it offers many benefits for people dealing with chronic pains, they should not have to break the law in order to reap these benefits and be stigmatized for their choices. The legalization of marijuana promotes a more accepting society that can then better educate themselves and others about the drug and understand how much potential the industry has. Marijuana being criminalized can perpetuate negative connotations with users, such as viewing them as lazy, whereas they're usually the average contributing member of our society. Thomas Kerr, a research scientist with the British Columbia Centre on Substance Use, argues that cultural forces have restricted research, including an overwhelming focus on the negative aspects of cannabis rather than the benefits. Legalization will lead to detaching the stigma, which will then reinforce more conversations about the benefits of marijuana, rather than referring to cannabis users as unproductive or unsuccessful in society.
Thank you, and now we'll move to the con side.
I will be presenting the con side for legalizing marijuana. And to start off, we would like to say that every individual is different, and of course the way they use or practice the use of marijuana will be different, and not everybody will use it for the same purpose of helping with any health disease or any health problem they have, and some can take advantage of it. With that noted, we would like to say that an issue that could happen with the legalization of marijuana is we could go down a path or a slippery slope in which we create a world where children or teens in the future think that it's safe or it's okay to use marijuana at any time of the day just because it's legalized. And to continue, we will also note that the commercialization of pot creates bad incentives for for-profit companies, which in other words, when we legalize marijuana, we could see that large industries decide to take advantage of individuals and take advantage of other things just because they know that they can make money off of this product. And so with that, what could happen is we could lead to an increase in heavy use and an irresponsible use. We could cause people to use it incorrectly. And again, as noted, people are all different and they could start using it to damage themselves or they could use it without the reality that they're hurting themselves in the end. We can link this to other examples such as the alcohol industry, the tobacco industry, the pharmaceutical industry, in which at one point they all decided to go for profit, just like marijuana at this point. And we go down the slippery slope in which we know that we start targeting consumers and users because we make money we market the product to them and we provide it allows us to buy as much of it as we can, and it goes down a wrong slippery slope and we take advantage of it. Therefore, that is an argument for the marijuana.
Okay, and now we'll move on to the social speech for the pro side and con side.
So legalizing marijuana has many positive social benefits. So according to a Harvard study, CBD is beneficial for people with relieving pain.
Can you guys mute your mic again, please? We're just getting feedback again.
Yeah.
Okay, THC is known as the brain's cannabinoid receptors, and this reduces the pain and it produces an elevated state of mind known as the high. CBD communicates with the pain receptors to apply pain relieving and anti-inflammatory effects. So a small study also reports that about 17,000 people have experienced less pain since they have consumed marijuana as a drug. And the results from this small study also showed that people have shown a decrease in chronic migraine pain after using marijuana, and this is beneficially towards society because overall citizens are better off since they are better equipped to deal with their pain. And lastly, the CBD oil reduces the symptoms of social anxiety. So a study showed that the cannabis oil changes the blood flow in the brain, and it actually changed the way the brain responds to anxiety. So another study in 2011 says that CBD treats anxiety specifically with public speaking, and overall the CBD oil has proven in a few studies that it has treated social anxiety disorder, panic disorders, OCD, and PTSD. So essentially marijuana is a health benefit for those with any type of pain, insomnia, or anxiety, which is why it should be legalized so citizens can have that health benefit to help them kind of feel better.
And now we'll move on to the con side for the social.
So one thing I wanted to address is that how you said that it also calms down anxiety. The THC levels can also trigger anxiety, and though most of it is causing pain, it also has other health risks that are very more worse than just the pain. Because of the advances in cultivating the plant cannabis sativas, the average THC concentrations increased from 4.56% in 1996 to 11.75% in the 2008. There are growing concerns about the increased potency of marijuana, with mounting evidence supporting the risk of cannabis-induced psychosis in otherwise healthy individuals. Marijuana affects perception and judgment and is associated with low achievement. Marijuana also causes memory and learning problems, which can especially affect those in high school or in college. Marijuana use can also cause delinquent behavior, aggression, and rebellion, and poor relationships with family, especially parents. According to the social impact of drug abuse, the effects of drugs in the workplace depend on specific tasks being performed. Highly technical tasks that require concentration and memory and likely to be affected by drug use and manual labor. If marijuana is legalized all over, the generation of growing up will not improve, but in fact get worse because they are unable to develop properly before in the future. Legalizing would certainly lead to much wider smoking of the weed, leaving millions damaged for life, especially today's youth. People who started smoking marijuana as teenagers continue into adulthood, showing an average IQ drops of 6 points between age 13 and age 38. Reported U.S. News and World Report in 2012 having caused the older people to develop most likely cancer as well as hypoglycemia. Pot reduces the ability to interact with the modern world. Too many pot smokers simply divide the world into us and them. Those who do not smoke are often dismissed as the man and not worth knowing. Legalized pot may take us to the place where we not want to be for a short months and years. Hundreds and thousands of kids in America may find themselves without the intellectual
deserve to contribute to the greater society or to even feed or clothe themselves. Certainly, some people can smoke and still maintain social drugs, carry out work of it. Like some artists can smoke to unleash their views, to guide them to paint across the canvas and enhance their music, or find a role to spin a poem down on a page. But for everyone disease, there are many who fail to graduate, fail to learn, fail to specialize, fail to contribute. Those some can handle it, and it can help them with work. But certain professions such as doctors and police, they could didn't want a doctor to be under this so that they're doing surgery or pull you over for their location. That is not so where it can be good for one, it's not good for all.
Okay, so now we'll be moving on to the rebuttal period. It will last about 10 minutes since you guys have to leave early. I just want to say before we start, since the connection is poor, if at any point you can't understand us, just tell us that you can't and we can restart our point because I want to make sure that you fully understand what we're saying. Okay? All right. So for the rebuttal period, I'm going to... So I just want to say that when we do have a rebuttal period, can I ask that if we are speaking, you guys mute your microphone since the connection is worse than usual. So when we are talking, could you mute your microphone just so we don't hear any feedback?
Yeah, we'll mute it whenever you're about to speak.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So I just want to start off by saying that during your ethical speech, you talked about how teenagers will think that it's okay to use marijuana. And on the contrary, I think that many teenagers are undereducated right now since there's so much stigma about the topic about marijuana. And a lot of them, I know there was a study came out by Harvard that said that a lot of teenagers think that it's a harmless drug for them, and they are unaware of the negative health benefits of them specifically, so they want to use it more. So if we do legalize the drug, it will reduce the stigma around the topic, allowing teachers and parents to have that conversation with teenagers about why they shouldn't use this drug, and it will allow them not to recreational use it at their age specifically because it does mentally impair them. So there will be more conversations, which I believe will benefit society as a whole and benefit these teenagers more because there's more of a conversation about marijuana. Well, right now it's very stigmatized. It's very much something no one wants to talk about.
Again, as we say, every and no one will have on marijuana. That you can compare marijuana to having a health class and learn about different topics such as sex and reproductive organs and stuff. And everyone can lower the risk of having sex and such things. And so you can relate to the same topic in which just because we talk to them about legalizing marijuana or we make it a more public thing without a stigma does not mean that the students will be safer with the product and will be more careful around it. If anything, it could spike their interest in wanting to do the product, or it could also lead to a road where students who already have to already do it could lead to higher increases in it. Anybody else want to say anything?
An example that is going on right now of is e-cigarettes like Jules and how kids are making it as if it's the 15 in it, and those things really affect the child, and with marijuana, it can really alter that child's make it harmless when it really isn't. It's still dangerous.
Legalizing it would only want to make them so responsible doing it because they do it now and they really don't care whether it's the fact of the health problem. They feel it's not legalized here, so they tend to not do it when it will definitely make a difference.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. So just to kind of go off the point about how you're saying that it will still be dangerous to children if we do legalize it and in general, well, the point is that in Canada, it's been legalized for 3 months, and we had a survey recently, and in that survey, we found that still only 12% of people would say that because of the legalization, they would even try the drug. Rather, 88% said that the legalization had no impact whatsoever. So really, the danger of it becoming legalized to children and rather having the stigma gone is greater than having children exposed to it.
And also considering a lot of people, those people were people who hadn't tried it before, it doesn't impact them as much. Only 12% of people who haven't tried marijuana before say they will try it again. So legalizing it will help people who already try it illegally, because a lot of those that black market marijuana has synthetic drugs inside of it, making them more addicted, making it's worse for them. It's bad marijuana necessarily because they inject synthetic drugs in the black market drugs. So legalizing it will help government regulation on the marijuana itself. It will help people who illegally used it before and legally use that dangerous marijuana, that dangerous synthetic marijuana. It will help regulate them now because the government policy is on top of it. And sorry, I understand you guys have about 5 minutes left. I just want to, for time's sake, right? This is the 5-minute warning.
How do you do that? Okay. Yeah. I want to. Do you want to go on to the economical for the other questions?
Yeah, we'll move on to economical just so we can kind of hit all the points a bit more. So we can move on to economical if you guys have any rebuttals for our points.
Yeah, that's okay. It's already on the thing.
Okay.
So a point was brought up that the introduction of marijuana into a society will lead to the drop in productivity of both workers and students. However, marijuana is a recreational drug. The widespread usage and acute effects of marijuana are similar to that of alcohol, without the long-term damaging effects on one's health. In other words, marijuana usage is the responsibility of the individual. And it is fair for us to trust a society to use the drug, at least in a very large majority, wisely. And therefore, it should not lead, and does not lead, in any of the nations in which it is legalized, in a drop in productivity for both students as well as adults when it is used both responsibly and legally, which, when legalizing marijuana, would lead to there being no effect in this drop.
Anybody? Okay, so noted again, there hasn't been a change or that everything stays normal again. again, when we look back at the industry and the alcohol so we have the alcohol use. That individuals, instead of using it properly, now are legally able to use it, or it's more acceptable to use it within the environment that they're in. And so again, the pharmaceutical industry, the tobacco industry, or the alcohol industry, we're going to go down the same slippery slope in which individuals will take advantage of it. It is an individual who can treat quite differently, and when we see it, we'll take advantage of it, and in which we saw people take it. Oh, okay. And we hit the